the first to know in Nsem-Pii TV.
Enche na Akwatia by election baso a minoka say both NPP and NDC amanyuku no obia akwa mu ewo ho a campaign a obia eye no enye asem kotoa na said ya yeni ayenim no say election ba because say a eya na nipa a won ewo nimde ewo research mu ba abonten especially say one ekọ na one ekokoye one research nyina ewia na one so aba abonten de aba betu edwa say abato no a ye ba betu no sei na ebefri mu aba na research baako a eya ade say Ghana ha ubodin a obi abehu da research firm no eye Global Info Analytics a papa a oda no eye Musa Dankwa no na Musa Dankwa say per one research a one ekokoye ne currently the NPP amanyukuo no na atake lead ewo Aquitia a minoka say die aye emidisem ni Jubilation de ama NPP amanyukuo no a one talk so say one ebeye adwumaden na wonsa etimi aka Aquitia seat now de yenkotie Musa Dankwa.
All the internal wranglings of the NPP that seem to be also dovetailing into the narrative of the campaign message. You know that there have been tirades that have been traded among camps. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on the other hand, seemed to be asserting that he is the victim because Brian A. Champon's video seemed to have popped up. And since then, a number of Facebook messages have been what we call in local parlance, bars being traded between some elements in both camps as well as others as well. But Musa Dankwa is a known poster. He's executive director for Global Info Analytics, now famous for undertaking a number of polls, not only on politics, but also all subjects within the market. Good morning to you, Mr. Musa Dankwa.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, and this subject matter of the narrative, the campaign, so to speak, for Aquitia, how crucial is this? I mean, are the stakes really high, as we tend to be seeing on Facebook particularly, or even X? Or even worse on Twitter, because those are videos where people share opinions and sometimes the language is unregulated, so to speak, very vulgar.
Right, thank you very much for having me. It's Aquitia critical. I think for the NDC, it is not. They don't need Aquitia to do anything in government. But for NPP, yes, they need to win Aquitia. They must win Aquitia. They can't afford to lose Aquitia in the midst of this restructuring and reorganization. So for them, Aquitia is a must. And Aquitia is a must also because they need to start putting some brake on NDC's popularity. And Aquitia could offer them the chance to do that.
How's it looking like? Both candidates, in the run-up to this, what type of message have they been selling? I saw the NPP candidate saying that Aquitia is a mining town, and so the conversation should be premised around what the needs of the people are, what policy advocacy for the sector would be. It's being misconstrued to mean that he's talking about mining, and then because there was a tirade, or he made a comment that it's not law we're talking about when it comes to Aquitia, so to speak. How is that influencing opinion in the run-up to this?
No, Roland, if you look at the polls we conducted recently in Aquitia, the top three issues were development projects, cost of living, and education. And then you have Galamsey distance fourth. Now, he has chosen to pivot on Galamsey, mining, because that's what he thinks his strengths might be. But even on Galamsey, it doesn't cut across the entire constituency. There are certain electoral areas where Galamsey for them is a do or die affair. If he was making those comments in those areas, then he is on point.
Okay.
But if he's making this comment across the constituency, then that could backfire, because elsewhere, the top issues were development, cost of living, and quality education. And if he doesn't address that, if he doesn't address those issues, then I don't know how he's going to win.
But you can give him credit, won't you? Because the NDC candidate is not talking either. He's not available on TikTok. So at least he's been the one talking, and he's the one we're listening to.
Well, I have not been following the campaign quite strictly on the ground. My guys will be going there this Wednesday. I will probably have more feedback when they are done.
Okay.
But so far, I mean, TikTok, sometimes it's the algorithm that makes you see what you want to see. Maybe the algorithm is not allowing to see the NDC candidate. But I don't think he might be quiet. Even he is quiet, his party will not be quiet on social media.
No wonder I've seen Julius Debra, the chief of staff, and everybody else seem to be flooding the constituency, giving some considerations to what their needs are, even making promises, etc. But the substantive issue will be, and that is going to be phrased in this question, that the positive accolades of the John Mahama Nana Jino Poku-Agyeman government regarding how well they have managed the economy, and then also extending to governance generally since they came into power, how is that likely to influence somebody's choice in this by-election?
It would play a part, definitely to play a part. Now that they are in government, who have seen what they have done, if they are happy with it, they will reward the party with another seat. Now, if you look at the approval of the president in Aquitia constituency, about 46% approved and 40% disapproved. But you could see that the NPP's candidate at the time was doing about 3% better than Mahama's approval rate in the area, which means he was getting some benefit of his personal popularity in the area. Now, the problem for NPP and for the candidate is that they are not doing well across every part of Aquitia. There are areas that they should be doing well, and they are not doing that well. And that could be the problem they will face in the by-election. Now, if people's perception about NDC performance should permeate in the parliamentary candidates, then that could give the NDC candidate a boost in the polls.
That thing about areas and pockets of police station, I don't understand. Explain to me.
No, Aquitia has about 21 electoral areas, but the key ones are Wenchi, Bodia West, Takrasi, Bodia East, Apinaman, Kwame Kuma, Topreman, Kusi, Amanfrom, Saddams, and Okumani. Now, if you do well in these 10 areas, certainly you will win those areas. At the moment, in the poll, when we did head-to-head between MPP's candidate and the NDC's candidate, there are certain areas you could see vulnerability for the MPP's candidate. For example, in Apinaman, Apinaman is a strong MPP stronghold, but at the moment, their candidate is behind in the polls there. They cannot win Akwatia if they lose Apinaman electoral areas.
But so far, you seem to give MPP the edge. I mean, slight lead.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The edge they have is because of three things that we've observed in the polls. They are ahead because they are currently leading among Ga-Adangbe groups, 51-46. They are leading among the Ewe group, 47-41. They are leading among the Bani group, 52-48. If this turns out to be true, then MPP will win the seat. But if these people don't do what they said they would do on election day, MPP will lose.
Well, it's just a poll, right? You are picking information, so you don't decide that, right?
No, I don't decide. But what I'm saying that if they vote the way they told us they're going to vote, it's proportional.
Okay.
If MPP candidate wins Ga-Adangbe group, if they win the Ewe group, if they win more the Gani group, and they're already ahead in that camp, there's no way NDC will win the seat.
Yeah.
But if it takes another way, then it could be a different story.
Yeah. My last question, I'll pose same to my panelists, but first we'll go to you before I let you off. Because what I've learned from your polls is that sometimes you have certain inferences that tend to influence indicators, the overall choices that people will make. And you know that the NPP seem to have gotten itself in this situation where they are deciding to have their presidential primaries in December. So you find that key leaders in the race are trading tirades, vulgar language among themselves from all camps. I call it, I'm using the local parlance in Accra, Gbos Gbas. All right? Now, those Gbos Gbas, the bombs they are throwing, how is that going to affect the factions or the supporters on ground, just in case?
You know, they should be very careful in how they attack or defend themselves in these internal primaries. There's life after primaries, and they shouldn't make that life very difficult for themselves. They have to be moderate in how they attack each other, because you need total unity to win the election against any NDC candidate. If these fractures are really showing up the way they are, and people are not forgiving after the primaries, then I can't see how NPP will govern themselves again for the next election.
We are living dangerously. Na democracy muni yewo. Inti I was say all state institutions, arms of government ne ese nyina timi ye adwuma. Abra any the direct control from the top, that's the presidency. Kwa the statement na letter na then opposition leader Mahama Echred yebesa kenkan.
Yes.
Ye kenkan ya ni yi ingredients bi afrim ni ya hwe se enembre ma ye wo Ghana sising etisen waku esenchwadwuma de wo se da bia abo awo bakwampa because ye babu anu atobo kakra ya no why sing. But say dear every day bia enano pe kwa be phone so.
And me kasa nyina nam ebusuafo frame.
And I make no.
See ano da bia da. Yeah, fro. Nkofo ya be de omutirimu odun. Nkofo bia be de omhu mu hweyi. Just say edu ba bia pressure fi family and friends oba no. Na ye o secret man ko ajai.
In fact, facha me. Who say me a train teacher. Enra. Me kacha anti bi say. Enye dia ye ni do mopedia o ma menye adwuma. Na mensan go back to the classroom because my certificate in that so. And you can't blame them. Omu ye nipa. Ye chemia eba fetu bia eba afeti fiefo nyina. Madofo omo muni me o matimidi obeba fetu bia. But that is where we are now as a people, as media practitioners. Now obi ka kire me say ebrebi beba ama enipa wo ye member of Ghana Journalists Association who is in good standing in the person of John Dramani Mahama eba be president of the republic ama me media practitioner okumi be adwuma na misura na menyini obi ka kire me say ebrebi beba ama obi anu opposition ya wocho krata koma sitting president Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo 11 February 2022 say member president 2025 wa me chese ntoni bi antum media house bi enu amagye the license me suspend obi ate say de wo ye no na media freedom de member anigye aba oman mu obi apa obetimi aka na 2025 na ba na sende John Dramani Mahama ababe president John Dramani Mahama and I don't know how President Mahama will feel select na what show no February 11 2022 no say who letter na let's what conscience dia kwaku wo kan letter na wo chokoma ne brother na Akufo-Addo as president na ebia enso pagana for chew unless Akufo-Addo chew achim kwa sembe na achim kwa kan me repeat wa ha because they were court said the president Mahama ka say na Akufo-Addo and the air suppressing press freedom no. In the same vein, it is President Mahama who is suppressing press freedom now. In the same vein, it is President Mahama who is ordering the arrest of journalists and TikTokers in Ghana. Wakwena yanko call straight away. Yakoe na lawyer anhwɛ for akwa. Lawyer papa. Osori kasaye bail application. Ghana constitution embrace emma estate in the money bail bia what the mine. Okay, can you na make reference to virtual everything. And that thing kwase one ahwɛ ne mba ne ade kan you na. Owie ye na prosecution sorry. Was sorry and was say the instruction. Menyam na make action no. Or you saw the word instruction at least twice. Was it the instruction they say? Who oppose bail application no. Me ma achimkwan bail. And a judge they say. Na aden na ya man the bail the reason they say. Judge in the busa prosecution sir. Afena ese aya the serious was stress be wontimi and said that and change him was say oh my lord I say yeah the man na I should be Johnny. And a judge in the busa say what is your proof say yeah my brand in the bail ube Johnny. And my lord and ya say beyond the canwa the intelligence chese na necroplasma ye king and ye be file court documents be chese the investigation no and your lawyer sorry and was say my lord and then ma yenta mo ejina so die mo bi bill ba ko ne say obe say investigation na obe interrupt but prosecution catch us here 2 minutes ago say o ma investigations no and no search him kwa kofia investigation bay and na wakwa say wakwa disrupted no because we so be investigations no and it was right judge no a match kwa bill no kofie because prosecution in to me establish any a plausible reason be I say I was a money that's etina a police custody na judge the city trash it dey ka say bia obema ruling no it's one judge they say they say aye tramentry yeah enter application bill and na prosecution so I oppose bill no eno ntino ye ma le kwanu nkofie na bienu 27th na me admachina na one for ruling on the opposition to the application for bill and me admachina ntino
of which ne kwan so no
of course
because say okokohwe say there are case law a support sa some prosecution ne kan na watimi aye proper
ruling aba supported by
say obe ruling in favor or against no na odi aba
ba ko bi si so first day na call you yeah we deny the bill no what can say we make reference to judicial precedents but I don't know you one the master ruling so I am better to believe say you know him you don't tell what you know because okay say say we be able to manimu da na the bakono they came with oral application for bill and I'm denying the bakoni bill but when they came on
a substantive motion
yes but bill application
written application
you know there me guarantee the bakoni bill
there say one amount a certain
I say at least one better than me said and so we were of that inclination say and first day no was say we deny the bakoni bill there second day second application no or money bill it means can say to take a chart that
yes
but be so said the way no prosecutor no so oppose now can say well you saw the word instructions not twice was a per my instruction oppose bill application no jamiad my judge say yanko jamiad machina ya fa che kwamra but the yam be yan say waku achekwa ba ye hunu achekwa yare nra achekwa police for somebody na hospital emma edwumre no mosade ne back to police custody de ya me real ho ne say asemu akakra obi aka yetimi di na tu ekoda wotwe mienu One case will be a dear wound. Or go walk on and I can. And then I see under the course Supreme Court, I must Supreme Court say, if I made that case is a crime, it's my bill. So far, the MSA, my bill, Ghana, and treason.
Treason, yeah.
Now, treason cry, now, what my work is, Yamani beside
money bill.
Kwaku, you're careful. Me, police for Omunyashi. Pap, on where Muton was say, or the Fed is instruction. Me say, and never air Kosuninano. I see placing directly at the doorstep of President John Dramani Mahama. Kwaku, you're not something can I dino. You're looting at some can I dino. Say no one, a community qua and Quabefi. And you will be a IGP no and me a Aquitia and catch him qua and Quabefi.